In my
Oh,
quest to make a mark on the culture and make hip hop proud, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of The Essence. Welcome to The Essence. This is KB Tyndall. I'm your host. We are powered by Tent TV, Validated Magazine, and Live 89 FM. Today, I have an artist, a lyricist, a complete West Coast representative, a beer connoisseur, an activist for various causes, such as sexual assault and Bang for Change. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mosaicc to the show. What's going on, brother?
what's up, everybody? I'm just chilling, man.
Yeah, man. Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. It's been a while since the first time I met you was, I think it was back in 2017 at one of
Right.
the East End block parties.
Yes, sir.
We had done like a really quick 2-3 minute interview then. But I've been watching what you've been doing, definitely listening to the music. And just wanted to just tap in with you, man, and get updated and get you on this new platform that I got, as far as this show, The Essence, is concerned. And just tap in with you, man, and just talk, man.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being considered.
Absolutely. Let's start at the beginning, man. Where did you get your rapper name from?
To be honest, I named myself, man. Like I had been given nicknames throughout the years from people, like not with the rap stuff, but just from life. And when I thought about potentially blowing up, none of those nicknames were names that I wanted to rep forever. They all had problems, some of them other rappers already exist like that, or big companies. So I was thinking about, I was like, man, what should I do? What should I do? At the time, Kendrick Lamar was like so popular, right? He was coming up and I loved him. And I noticed a lot of rappers were just rocking their names. And I was like, maybe I should do that. But for a lot of different reasons, I decided against that.
Right.
I had to come up with a name, bro. And I landed on one that I thought fit me,
Okay.
I think like Mosaicc is like a collection of different pieces, like come together and make some art. And I feel like I'm kind of like that because I have a lot of different influences, like being biracial, but like the area, I'm Black and Mexican, but the area that I'm from isn't even predominantly Black, and certain parts of it isn't even predominantly Mexican. It's a lot I'm from Orange County, California. It's a lot of Asians. It's a lot of Caucasians. It's a lot of Mexicans. It's starting to be more Black people, but it wasn't like that always when I was growing up. So I feel like, I have a lot of different, just like influences that make me different,
Right.
I don't know.
I got you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I noticed that about Orange County too. I noticed that when I moved out here, like 5 years ago. I came out here from New York, and there wasn't really a lot of Black people in the area, that I'm in. And even now, I'm in Costa Mesa, and I'm starting to see a lot more than I saw a few years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think we're part of that though, like because Black people don't want to be where no Black people are. And now that there's social media and there's more of like movements that are taking place in Orange County, it's like, oh, fuck it. I could be out there too. Whereas before it's almost like, I don't want to be out there, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think we might be a part of the influence of that.
That's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. What is your first memory or your earliest memory of hip hop and hip hop culture?
My earliest memory of hip hop and hip hop culture is easy. My pops was taking me to a babysitter. I don't know why we were being sat, too young to remember that, but what I do remember is hearing that Tupac had been killed. I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And I remember hearing that Tupac had been killed. And I was like, who's Tupac? And my dad's like, he sings, all the joints, all these joints that you like. And then they were doing they're playing his music. And I remember it was Power 106. Because back then there wasn't no alternative to Power 106.
Right.
There was no 100.3 The Beat in 97. Tupac was killed in 97?
96, I believe.
96?
I think it was September 13th, 96. That was the day that he finally died, but he was shot like 5 or 6 days before that.
Okay, so that would have made me 4. So, there was only one hip hop station, at least one relevant one at that time.
Right.
Because that was when K-Day was dying out and it was just Power 106. And I remember Power 106, they were just doing playing all his joints. And I specifically remember hearing California Love and that one being the one I'm like, oh, I do know this song. Yeah, dang, that guy died.
Right.
What does that mean? But I knew that it meant someone was going away. But yeah, I remember that's my first earliest memory.
That's a rough first memory, man. No, that
Yeah,
one of the greats that passed away, just that being your first memory, that's crazy, man. That's
yeah.
crazy. Wow. Um, Tell me about your neighborhood growing up, what neighborhood you represent, and how that influenced you prior to you being an artist, and how it influences you now as an artist.
So I'm from Buena Park, California. So that's the city that Knott's Berry Farm is in.
Yep.
Outside of Knott's Berry Farm, for the most part, we don't really have shit. So a lot of, and also too, Buena Park is literally the most northern and the most western city in Orange County. You can't get, we borderline with LA County. That's why it's different in Buena Park versus a lot of other areas, because we're not deep in Orange County. Buena Park my house is a 15-minute drive from Long Beach, a 15-minute drive from Compton, a 5-minute drive from Norwalk. So I have a lot of friends, family, and loved ones in all of those areas, right?
Right.
Whereas Irvine for me is about 30, 40 minutes away. You know what I mean? And I don't have a lot of South Orange County friends, family, nothing. I don't have a lot. I don't really know if I have really any. So anyway, I feel like Buena Park not really having shit, it makes everybody who's from Buena Park very proud. And I'm very proud to be from Buena Park. Random fact, it's the geographical center of Southern California. So like the city signs, they say center of the Southland, because the middle point of all of Southern California, it lies in Buena Park. So
wow, okay.
I like it, bro. It was cool. It's close, 20 minutes from the beach, 20 minutes from LA.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's for the most part pretty quiet, but there are a couple of neighborhoods that I guess would be considered socioeconomically disadvantaged. I've lived in them. I don't live in one right now, but I'm from it's pretty cool. Buena Park's cool. We just ain't got shit except Knott's.
So you're gonna put them on the map then? That's what that means.
Yeah, that's hey, people from nobody who I get so much support from my city. Like when I hear people talk about their city hating on them, I don't get a lot of that, man. I feel like they love me,
That's a blessing, man. That's a pure blessing to get love from where you're from, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I need that shit.
As an artist, man, what kind of sacrifices have you had to make throughout your career, and what type of things have you had to go without because you've invested so much in your artistry?
You know what's crazy? I was tripping out the other day. They talk about, certain secret organizations and like selling your soul or all those kinds of things. I never have and never intend to do anything of the nature. But what's weird is I've sacrificed so much where I'm like, damn, in a way, I kind of gave up everything. You know what I mean? I've taken every sacrifice imaginable, from quality relationships with people, with women, right? Quality relationships with my family, those have been sacrificed. My privacy and my safety. Without hip hop, my safety would be I'd be a lot more safe. Like I don't come from an area where it's deadly like that. And even in the areas in Buena Park that are deadly, I wasn't really involved with that. So, the negativity that exists in hip hop culture, even though we don't promote that, I still deal with a lot of shit, man. I've dealt with all the threats and fights and shootings and stabbings and rumors and you know what I mean? So everything. I stopped going to school to do this rap shit. I was doing well in school. Outside of hip hop, I had a promising future. So to even step into this was kind of like a risk.
What were you studying? What were you studying in school before you decided to do music?
I was gonna be an English teacher. I was on the path to be an English teacher.
Okay, all right.
I actually got into Cal State Long Beach and Cal State Fullerton. They do a combined teacher credential bachelor program.
Right.
And I got into that. I graduated from Cypress College. I got into both of those, but I didn't get into my dream school. Baby, stop doing that. I'm with my son right now.
No, you good.
Stop doing that. I didn't get into my dream school and I was pissed off. And at the time I was like messing around with the rap shit. People telling me I was tight. and I had booked this. I don't remember who it was. I want to say, because this is before the Snoop Dogg show, which was like defining for me, like life changing a little bit. But it was someone that made me go, man, I should just try this shit. Like, I didn't get where I wanted to get when it came to school, and people were telling me to give it a shot. I was like, school's gonna always be there. So even that, you know, I tell my professors and shit, or my mom, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start going to school and start making hip hop music. It's like, what? Like, what? That sounds stupid to a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
So all that was a sacrifice. Everything. I put a lot of money into this shit, a lot of time, sacrificed my mental health, sleep, you know what I mean? It's not just the money I spend on studio time, it's the fact that with that studio time, I could be making money. Like if I was just working with I'm spending money to invest in myself while also missing out on time where I could have been making money. It's like, it's kind of like a double sacrifice sometimes. But
yeah, man,
these days it's looking more like it's coming back in. So
well, that's a good thing.
It's starting to look worth it.
Starting to pay off. Yeah, absolutely, man. The grind is the grind, man. You know, you definitely got to do that to get to a certain point before you start to reap the benefits of it, man. You know, absolutely. As a hip hop artist, what do you feel that your responsibility is to your community and to the hip hop culture?
These days, my biggest responsibility is to show the importance of fatherhood and the effectiveness of being a diligent parent. Like, I think that, like, I never thought that. I didn't think that was going to be kind of my calling, but, you know, I got into the hip hop shit. I started making somewhat of a community name for myself or whatever. And then I had a child, and I never realized, like, I got homies trying to copy the shit I do as a dad. Like, I got Jeremiah, you know, I'm riding the bike and I got a baby seat. Now I got homies who I know would never be out buying bikes or putting kid seats on the bikes, when I see them doing it. And I'm like, man, like,
that's dope.
That's what, you know what I mean? And then this, you know, at first I thought to myself, I thought no one was going to want to hear nothing from a rapper with a kid. You know what I mean? That's how I first thought. And I also thought that it would be hard to be a good dad and still hang on to this. Cause like I said, I deal with a lot of negativity from this too. So it's like, I don't want to bring that on him. So at first I was like, I didn't see how it was going to work. I felt like my career as a hip hop artist might be over, but what I learned was the exact opposite, that people still care. Making music about my son, like some of my most successful joints have been songs about Jeremiah, you know, and then also too, just the fact that this community needs it more than anyone. Like, if there's any community that needs it, you know, someone setting an example of fatherhood is this one. And I see it now, you know, I see it a lot more. You know, I know you heard of Rucci from Inglewood. Like, he's very proud about, you know, he just had a daughter, and he's very proud in posting it. And I feel like rappers are doing that. I feel like it's cool now to post pictures of your kid and to show that you're an active father. And I don't think that was ever cool in hip hop as far as I remember. I don't remember that ever being like cool or even a thing in hip hop. So
yeah, I've never seen it as a thing either. No. Yeah. That's dope though. That's definitely dope how you incorporate everything and definitely incorporate your son into it, man. That's real dope, definitely. Your latest project, I Believe in Me, dropped back in April. Tell me why you chose that title and what do you want people to take away from the project?
Man, you're the first person to ever ask me that, and I'm so happy to answer it, bro.
Good.
First of all, in case any individual out there from my past has convinced you that that title or that slogan or that phrase was invented by anybody other than me, that's false. That is non-factual at all. We threw a hip hop toy drive, donated like toys to underprivileged kids in the city of Anaheim, right? So we did like a hip hop toy drive around the holidays.
Right.
And I was shooting a commercial for it. We were filming a commercial, and I kept messing up. And like he told me, like, I was short on time, he was short on time. I was like, it's cool, bro. We're gonna knock this out super quick. I kept messing up my lines over and over and over. And he was like, bro, we're not gonna get this done. He's like, we're gonna be out here all day. I was like, no, we're not. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna knock it out next shot. I believe in me. I said that. And I still kept fucking up after it. But what was funny is that he was recording when I said that, and he made it was Farron from Black OC, and he made the commercial better because he included all my mess ups and then put the part of me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get a next try, I believe in me," and still messing up, and it made it a funny promo video, and it ended up working and connecting. People were laughing, and then I stuck with that. I stuck with the I believe in me. I went through a rough breakup, and like when COVID hit, everyone got hit, and because of the industry I work in, I wasn't able to work at all because of a technicality on my unemployment. I wasn't getting unemployment, you know, and I had a at the time he was 1.5, he was about to be 2.
Right,
so
right.
I had a 1 and some change-year-old, and then I also went through a breakup, which made me almost lose my spot without the ability to even work. Like, it's not like you can grind and save. I can't grind and save. I was hurt over the breakup. Can't go to the gym. Gyms are closed. Can't go to a bar and drink. Those are closed. You can't kick it with your homies because they're on the news saying don't link up with no one or you might die.
Right, right.
So it was dead ass me and this guy right here. Jeremiah, say what's up.
What's up, Jeremiah?
Yep. It was just me and this guy in this apartment. You know what I mean? Like throughout that. And eventually it clicked to me. The only way out of that shit was staying sober, getting healthy, eating right, working out, and just dealing with all the mental shit. Right. And then there were points where it looked real ugly. And I just flashed back to that I believe in me shit. And I was just like, fuck that. Like this, like, what am I gonna do? Become an alcoholic at the house, drink myself to death? Or what am I gonna do? Like, what's the world's gonna end? You know what I mean? Like people are going crazy and shit. Like, nah, like put the team, like give it all. Give me more of a load. Give me more, like I take it all. I believe in myself. I believe in me, you know? And then I just ran with it. I kept the logo playing because I think the statement is so strong. I'm trying to show the logo. I think the statement is so strong.
Okay.
I kind of imitated Kawhi Leonard. If you've seen the Kawhi's, how he did the Times New Roman, because he's like making a joke about how he's boring and playing.
Right.
That's what he did with the New Balance movement. So I was like, just straight up Times New Roman, no logo, no design, no nothing. And this is easily the most successful any item of any merchandise that I've ever had by far. It's not even close.
I believe that. Yeah, that's cool. What do you want people to take away from the project as a whole?
I mean, if they're listening, like, I think they should see that what I was kind of trying to say is like, I'm probably staying away from the traditional like classic hip hop sound that I've been known for up until this point.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stay away from that, and I'm gonna I'm just bringing the shit I have to say to modern West Coast sound that can still be like commercialized, like that could still sell, that could still be out there, be on the radio, or be a popular song. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't sound like he's like an underground classic hip hop, like classic backpack rapper type of cat. It's like, nah, like I'm gonna say what I have to say on West Coast beats, and the shit's gonna still bang, and you can still party to it too. And that's what Tupac did, right? Like we talk about Tupac and all the messages he had in his music, but his music was good for the radio at the time.
Yeah.
So if you're saying all the right shit, but your music isn't the type of music they would ever play on the radio, well, nobody's gonna hear you. I think the best of the best artists do both. That's my personal opinion about music or hip hop. Yeah. It's like
they can touch on different topics and people want to hear it from them,
and still sell.
Yeah, and still sell. Absolutely.
I don't like that. I'm not doing nothing because I keep it real. No, there's people that keep it real and sell.
Keeping it real is being honest about who you are as an individual and honest about who you are as an artist. That's what people want to hear. People want to hear your truth. Yeah. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear the nonsense, you know. Farron Kid, you mentioned him. He's also featured on the project on Buy the Block Back. Tell me about your relationship with Farron Kid, how that came about, and the work that you're doing with the Black OC and Bang for Change.
All right, so true story.
No, I want to choose a guy.
Me and Farron Kid. So Farron Kid did some time in prison, and he told me the story only once, so I don't want to mess it up. If he sees this, correct me. You know, if he sees this and I say something incorrect, correct me. Somebody showed him his music. Somebody showed him my music when I was in prison. So he's from Orange County. He's from the city of Orange. I think he's from the city of Orange, but he lived in Anaheim and Orange. He grew up in both, but
okay.
Here, baby, you pick. So someone showed him my music while he was in prison. Got out of prison. Coincidentally crossed paths with me. He like came to a show. He just like, or like someone had given him my CD or something like that. And then like he was walking by in Fullerton and I was doing a show. I let you choose it. Stop. Hey, this is the last time you're gonna interrupt me. You choose whoever you want. Look it. Look. You can just go like this and you choose who you want, and then you just press A when you want to select them. It's taking forever. My fault.
Now you good.
So choose whoever you want.
Okay.
So yeah, like he stumbled. We ran into each other at a random show, randomly, right? And then like there was this one day I'm driving down, like comfortable in my section, you know, like a place where I don't really have a lot of problems of confrontation or whatever. I was very comfortable. I think I had like no shirt on, and I was just like riding around in my section, coming from one of my friends. We had a clothing store, and Farron Kid, or I seen like two black dudes like looking at me dummy hard. Like I was just, you know, I was like I had a red light, like looking at me hard, like trying to like get my attention or whatever. And I was like, who the fuck is this, you know? And didn't like the way it felt, whatever. Roll your window down. I roll my window down. And bro was blasting my shit. He was playing my music. He was playing my music in the car at the moment. He didn't put it on because he saw me. It was like slapping while he's like, boom, I fuck with you. Da, da, da. I was like, that shit felt, I was like, I got fans like that. Like it was at a time where I wasn't really popping like that. Like, you know?
Right.
And then I ran into him again and he was like, this was like me running into you in traffic. He's like, I want you to know that was God, that was divine. And you might think I sound crazy right now, but I believe that. I believe all that happened for a reason. And I started to build, I had a loose relationship with him for about the first year I knew him. I was caught up in a lot of other things that I was doing. And he was just getting this shit off the ground. And a lot of people talk about what they're going to do. And I don't ever really listen to it.
I want to be that guy.
You're going to be Paul Rodriguez, and that's the end of it. We love P-Rod. That's the end of that, okay? So yeah, and he just, I had a loose relationship with him, and then there was just one day where he gave me his full vision, and I can't even tell y'all that because that's like top secret information, but his vision of success, like what he wants to achieve while he's on this earth, is so pure and beautiful that I will be his friend forever. Right. Because because I'm on the same, without realizing it, I'm on the same mission, and I've had the same callings and the same vision. And so as long as he's sticking to that, as long as he's staying true to where he wants to get, which he so far has been, if you ask me, there's no reason why we shouldn't be homies. Because like his plan is dope. Like people have a plan, I have a plan to get rich. I'm gonna start a beauty salon and get rich or whatever. Right. His plan that I can't tell you is I'm married. I'm married to that. We are in a relationship with the goals he has to achieve. And I want to help him get there, and he's helping me get where I'm going, and I'm helping him get where he's going. And we bump heads like a motherfucker a lot. But ultimately, we have a common goal. So we're on a team. That's Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. As long as that common goal is what you both fighting for, the obstacles along the way don't make a difference. You're gonna have obstacles. You're gonna get through them. Yeah, absolutely.
We've had them.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, it does. It happens in business, man. It happens, you know. Absolutely. You did a project with LuMm back in 2019. Rhythm and
Let me
Blues.
LuMm.
Yeah. He's also featured on the track Outside. That's one of my favorite tracks off the project. I Believe in
Thank
Me.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you guys meet, and what's the chemistry like when you guys are in the studio working together?
LuMm, I met LuMm at a family party. LuMm is like a family friend.
Okay.
Across the street from my pad. And I was young, and I listened to so he was a hip hop artist. He was making music, and I listened to the stuff that he had, and I could tell the quality of the music he was making was higher than mine. I was like, oh, this is dope. Who did this? He's like, I did this. I was like, nah, but I'm saying who recorded it. He's like, I recorded it. I'm like, and he has recorded 90% of the music you've heard from me.
Okay.
So we didn't have like a friendship. We didn't start off with a friendship. I met him at as a family friend at a family party. And then first time we linked, it was building, and we just kept building and building and building. And he always showed respect and thought I was dope. I always respected him. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more times. He is the most talented artist in Orange County. If it was just as a rapper, he's a top rapper in Orange County. If it was just as a singer, he'd be a top singer in Orange County. If it was just as an engineer, he'd be a top engineer in Orange County. And if it was just as a producer, as in beat maker, he would still be a top producer in Orange County. There ain't nobody else even close to none of that. LuMm is the shit.
Wow.
LuMm is dope as fuck. And he's also a man of God, and he's a good dude. So
yeah,
you know, I don't see a reason why he won't be in my future long term. You know, he's thrown me lobs. I've thrown him lobs. I love working with him. I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I know his children. I know his mom and dad. He knows my son.
Right.
You know, he was at my baby shower and shit.
That's dope. That's hella dope right there. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to some new music from you guys. Maybe even another full project from you guys, man. Absolutely.
I had to get him on Outside, man. That might have been one of the last tracks I did, and I didn't have him on it. And I was like, man, I gotta get LuMm on this shit, man. I gotta. he's been on every project I dropped.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's the response to "I Believe in Me" been so far since you dropped it in April?
Shit, weaker than I feel like it's weaker than I expected and weaker than I deserve, but the numbers don't show that. Okay. So I think as maybe this might be the case. Maybe as you like get to certain levels, people stop complimenting you to your face or publicly, but they're still fucking with me. So I checked my numbers the other day, and I Believe in Me is my commercially most streamed, viewed, listened to, whatever project. Okay. So that means it's doing well, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like a lot of songs are going over people's heads. Like it doesn't feel like people are listening, but they gotta be. So every once in a while, people will surprise me and say, "Oh, I like this song or that song," and I'm like, "Okay, so y'all are listening to stuff." But right. I mean, all the clips and the videos that I put on Instagram, they're all like the highest numbers. You know what I mean? But I pride myself in making projects, and I want people to listen to the entire project and have an experience. So I haven't really gotten as much feedback as I'd like on the entire project, but I do get people saying, "Man, that shit," you know, they listen and go, "That shit was dope." And I listened to the whole thing. I do get some of that, but maybe just not quite as much as I want.
As much as you want, right? What's your favorite track on the project?
Bounce Back.
Bounce Back, okay.
And it's like, it's not like a very conscious song. It's not a very deep song. Actually, that was the last song that I did. For sure, that was the last song. I did that song last minute. I wrote and recorded that song last minute. I wrote the hook to Bounce Back in the shower on the way to the studio before I went to the studio to record Bounce Back. And not only that, we had a technical difficulty with a beat that I had purchased. I purchased a beat from a producer, and he left the tags all over it. And I said, "Hey, bro, I bought this beat, and it's the one you sent me still tagged up." He's like, "Damn, I don't even have access to that file anymore. That's actually like an older beat. You got to grab a new one." So in the studio, so I wrote the hook in the shower right before I got to the studio, like rehearsing it in the car type shit.
Right,
Get to the studio, have to switch the beat. So that song is like super last minute, and I just think it slaps. And I like the hook, you know, like a big part of I Believe in Me, the inspiration was trying to play something people could listen to in the gym. You can't really knock, I wanted to do something people could go to the gym, like people could get fit and people could get money to. But classic hip hop, much as I love it, doesn't make me want to work out, and it doesn't make me want to like get it. Like, you know, let's get the money, like go fucking hustle, like get up. And I wanted to do that. And I feel like that song does that. You know, I feel like that song is kind of like I never, you know, I'd be lying if I never took a loss, but I always bounce back like a boss. Like I work out to that song, like, you know what I mean? Like, and get money to it. So it's like, I love that song.
That's dope.
That shit goes.
Last time we spoke, like I said, was back in June of 2017 at the East End Block Party. You had just started brewing your own beer, the Mosaicc IPA, and I believe you had a Mosaicc Double IPA at the time.
Yes.
How's that business going for you? Have you come out with different beers? How are those selling?
COVID played me, man. COVID played me. The beer industry was hit hard, bro. The beer industry, the alcohol industry is hit hard because you can't go to bars and clubs and shit. So beer's not moving the same way liquor's not moving. On top of that, most breweries don't have kitchens. So California was like, if you have a kitchen, you can stay open. But if you don't have a kitchen, fuck you. Breweries were shut down. Breweries were hit hard. I don't even know how they made it. And then so I had breweries locked in. We had meetings. I'm sitting with the owner and the head brewer. And we were at the time, we were gonna do a socially conscious beer. So we were gonna drop a beer with a socially conscious name and a socially conscious message on it during the George Floyd protests.
Okay. And
they were hyped on it. They loved the idea of it. I think it would have been, like, from their standpoint, gimmicky. And for the record, I didn't sit at the table with anybody who I didn't feel was being sincere. If it was like a company who looks like they don't give a shit about social justice and they just trying to like, oh, let's just hop on this Black Lives Matter train real quick and, you know, capitalize on that, I wouldn't even talk to them. If I didn't feel like, and there was people who I didn't talk to because I didn't feel like it was sincere. But I had sincere people at the table, and all of them backed out for the same reason. They're like, look, when they got closed down, it's like we're not in a position to be taking risks with new ideas and new endeavors. Right now, we got to make sure that we are staying on top of our shit and not taking, you know, $20,000, $30,000 losses. Now, I know it would have been successful, but they weren't willing to take the risk at the time. And so now things are still barely getting back open. And, you know, I had a shift in a different direction and things change, but it's coming. I just ran into a friend of mine in the beer industry recently. We talked about it, and he was like, oh, why? He's like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Let's do it. Let's do a Mosaicc IPA. So we got one. It's coming sooner than later.
All right, cool. Tell us about these causes that you're passionate about, sexual assault and also the Bank for Change. Tell us a little bit about each of those and what kind of role you play in them.
Well, look, I don't want to come here and say like I'm the loudest and proudest sexual assault or opposer, you know, an advocate for sexual assault awareness. I'm not. I'm definitely more educated on the subject than the average person, than the average man, for sure. Okay. And I'm definitely more vocal than the average person or the average man. But, you know, it's not like I've been putting in work in the sexual assault community or have ties over there. I don't. That's just becoming highlighted based on other aspects of my life, of my personal life that are, you know, it's coming around full circle. And, you know, my stance is the same. But as far as social injustice, man, I've been about that. I've been about my two things are eliminating not only racism, but just kind of judging people based on their ethnicity or the color of their skin. So that even includes like I tell my Black homies all the time, you hating white people that's not empowering for us, you know, or you hating Mexicans or Mexicans hating white people, all that shit. Like that's a big part of like my daily, I combat those things daily, but I've also put in work in that community for a long time. And the other one is education reform. I think keep going, keep playing. I'm talking. education reform is like, that's where I think it's going to happen. That's where the change is going to happen. Like everything that we want to see, we could see those changes. Like every kid goes to school.
Mhm.
So if you can effectively kind of control or dictate what they're teaching in school, that's where you could get them, you know? I have ideas of like, I think there should be like media, like there should be music analysis in school. All these kids listen to songs,
right?
And they don't know what the fuck the songs are talking about or the effect that the songs are having on them. But I imagine in high school, if it showed you, you know, it broke down songs, show you how to make it, and show you what, like, you know, broke down lyric comprehension, shit like that. Real sex ed, you know, like a real one.
Right.
Learning to do your taxes, learning about compound interest and credit cards, those kinds of things, like things that will actually empower people to be more financially stable adults.
Right.
A lot of education reform. Everybody should have free lunch. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Everybody should have free lunch.
Yeah.
If they have a free lunch, it's because it's a child, a student who is hungry. There's no. That's all it would. You know
that's
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
They're not going to take it and flip it.
Right.
Start a free lunch. You know what I mean? Enterprise.
Right.
All they can do is eat, so they can study and not be hungry.
Right.
Shit like that, man. You know, obviously police brutality. I'm a big harsh critic of police officers, and I hold them to extremely high standards.
Right.
And I don't intend to stop doing that anytime soon. You know, that's it. That's like, and Black OC. So Bank for Change. Oh, I guess that's another one lately. These days Bank for Change. I don't know. I mean, I'm almost positive Farron invented or coined that phrase. And the idea is that we don't have to put on a shirt and tie and dress like Carlton and listen to Taylor Swift just because we're saying that there's a lot of Black culture that we don't co-sign and we don't want to continue in the future, right? Like, you know, there's aspects of gang culture that are good. There's a lot of good aspects of gang culture. And I think the Bank for Change was like, you can still be Black and you can still be yourself, you know what I mean? But just do it for the right causes. Like if you think about it, like, you know, a gang member goes and shoots at a person standing in front of a house in a moving car and drives off, and that's been considered, that guy's tough, that guy's down. But you think about like, well, Martin Luther King was sleeping in homes where Ku Klux Klan members would come 50 deep and set that home on fire, and he's running out of homes and churches. Like they're really trying to get him. And it would have been easier for him to just go, you know what? Maybe I'll just shut the fuck. And he kept going. That's gangster.
That's gangster. Yeah.
That's like you talk about, oh, your enemies came through and shut the house up. No. We're talking about mobs of people who aren't going to get charged.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like trying to get you, assassinate you. And they ultimately did. That's gangster.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I think with the idea of Bank for Change is, as hard as we've gone on each other, specifically as Blacks and Mexicans, we've gone very hard on ourselves. Mexicans going on Mexicans, Blacks going on Blacks, Blacks going on Mexicans, and Mexicans going on Blacks. We've done that for so long. We should go that hard for the shit that we stand for, the shit that we believe in. We should go that hard against sexual assault. Not, oh, please stop raping our women, but like, hey, what the fuck is up? We don't condone this. You'll get the fucking shit kicked out of you. You get your teeth knocked out. Like we don't co-sign that, right? Or like, hey, you know, like we don't like, for me personally, it's like I don't co-sign deadbeat fathers. Like you're a deadbeat father and I find out about that, I'm not gonna be cool, and I will be like, bro, I can't respect you. Why are you talking to me right now? Like, you don't even take care of your own. So it's you know, or whatever. Like I'm not saying that's the entire Bank for Change message. That's not. I'm not saying that's what. But for whatever we advocate for whatever we decide that we're going to fight for sure, social injustice and against police brutality. You know, that's why we didn't want to kneel at the kneeling protest. We kneel for George Floyd. It's like, fuck that. We're standing up. Like, you know. So that's kind of the mentality and the attitude. And I love that phrase, Bank for Change.
Yeah, me too. I do like that. Definitely. How do you feel that you've grown as an artist since you came into the game?
I think I let go, and it works a lot better. Like I instead of trying to control every bar, every word, every line, you know, I one of the things that I learned is that rigorous rhymes doesn't dictate a better song.
Right.
And sometimes you could say more by saying less. Some of the most the greatest lyrics aren't lyrically complex. And then you have a lot of, like, I love Eminem, but if we're gonna be honest, there's a lot of Eminem songs where he's being lyrically genius, but not saying shit. He's just fucking around, talking about harming his mom or whatever. You know what I mean? Just wild, silly shit about what he wants to do to Christina Aguilera or whatever. Right. So it's like, damn, like you're spitting, but you ain't say shit. So I think I've grown in a way where, like, I just kind of let go and stop trying to be like the illest rhyme sayer, and just try to be like myself. You know, I'm not trying to be Eminem. I could improve every song I've ever written. I could go improve it if I listen hard enough and just go practice. Oh, I could add another rhyme in here. I should have said this better. Switch it up. But I just kind of try to, like, get the shit that's on my chest, get it off my chest, and still keep the bars at like a high. Still have high integrity when it comes to bars. We're not trying to sacrifice the quality of the rhyme, but at the same time, not just focus on that. I've grown in that way, and then also, like, the way I've been able to, like, hop on West Coast beats is it's not easy, man. It's like it's not a whole lot of people that can make West Coast music and not talk about, like, traditional gang culture. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. And the people who are listening to it and they're gonna like it in the West Coast, a lot of them still like that gang culture shit. So it's like I get one. That's one of my most common compliments from people is the way I tiptoe on consciousness and gangster shit and player shit and real life shit. They say, like, I get told, like, I don't know nobody else that does that like that. Like, yeah, like, gangster rappers are the gangster rappers, and conscious rappers who are conscious rappers, and player rappers who are player rappers, and real life rappers who are real life rappers. But, like, you know, I'm proud, like, to flip it into this West Coast shit and kind of make music that not everybody, but, like, those different demographics that I named can fuck with. That's not easy, and I've grown to get there because I couldn't have done that walking into this rap shit. Right.
That's dope. You're speaking to more than just one group of people. You're speaking to several groups of people, but they're all vibing out to the music the same way, and each group is getting a little bit something different from that song. You know what I mean? And that's a dope thing.
I'm proud of that. Like, I try to tell people, because people will go and tell their moms and dads, like, oh no, he's different though. Like, he's about the people, and he's about social change. And I am, but like, I still say some shit.
Say some gangster shit too, though.
I still say, like, you know what I mean? Talk about like, I like barely knew the girl for 30 minutes before we fornicated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not. But and I think, once again, the greats do that. Tupac did that. Like, Tupac was a great hip hop artist.
Absolutely, man. It's
but
real life.
It's
real life.
Yeah, like. Yeah. I'm not no backpack rapper. They always try to throw me on, like, these backpack rapper lineups when I'm doing shows, and I'm like, you realize I'm about to cuss like a motherfucker, and, you know, I'm myself. I don't know. Like,
that's the joy, man. That's the beauty of it, man. You're supposed to be yourself. You know, I've always had an issue in hip hop when people try to perceive an image or put an image out there that's not them. You know what I mean? I'd rather hear your truth than hear you try to create a story and tell me a story, because I'm going to see right through that. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, definitely. 2 more questions, man, and we're done. What does hip hop mean to you?
What does hip hop mean to me? I think hip hop is the culture of poor people. I think hip hop is the culture, like, historically Black people, but I don't think it has to remain, or necessarily even should remain, in the Black community only. I love that white people are embracing hip hop. I think hip hop is hard. I think hip hop is a counterculture. I don't think it should be. I don't think a hip hop artist should be the most popular artist in the country, because I don't think most people should be able to understand hip hop. because they can't relate because most people aren't living a hip hop life in this country, right? So I mean, if they're fans of it, that's one thing. But you know, I think hip hop is it's an underground culture. Like obviously, it's not underground anymore, right? Like there's a lot of commercial success that can take place, but ultimately, it's an underground culture. It's a hard, dark, but still bright and inspiring culture. And you know, I don't know. I think we definitely know it's the most popular genre of music in the world. Now, and every time it's always like some old Trump supporting looking cat that'll tell me what makes you say it's the most. How you know it's the most popular genre in the world? Who said that? And I'm like, iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah,
ask them.
The world says it basically.
Go ask. So those are the biggest streaming platforms. Go ask them what the most popular songs are. Absolutely. So, you know, it's popular, but yeah, I think hip hop to me, just, I don't know, it means someone who doesn't give a fuck, someone who's been through some shit, someone who's going through some shit. You know what I mean? Trying to get it.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, man, when it's all said and done, you know, 20, 30, 40 years from now, what do you want people to say about Mosaicc?
I pride myself more than anything in my integrity. So I don't really give a fuck about nothing else. I like when people compliment me on my music, and I'm very thankful, but that doesn't mean shit in comparison to the times where people tell me, hey, nah, man, like, I remember there was a day, you know, like he didn't have money. He told me like if I spot him, I'd get him back. And he came back, gave me the money, shot me the money. Or people who just say, oh, bro, there was a day like you don't remember how we met? Like I was walking home and you just thought that I might need a ride, and you asked if I'd give you a ride. And like, you know, people vouching for my integrity and just I don't want to say vouching as if to say that that I'm trying to prove anything, but that's what I want to be known as, somebody who had high integrity.
Stand up guy. Stand up
individual.
Absolutely.
Who also wasn't a bitch.
There you go. That's right. Final question. Just tell everybody how they can follow you on social media, and then tell us about any other ventures that you're working on where people can find your merch and things like that. Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Big Mosaicc. It's the word Mosaicc with an extra C, so that's Mosaicc. I'm on iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music. I think I'm on every streaming platform that exists, and you can search Mosaicc, Mosaicc. And yeah, man, if you hashtag Dead West, you'll find me. If you find the Black OC organization, you'll find me. And I have plans. I'm about to start organizing another holiday toy drive. That's later on for December, but we just dropped the black I Believe in Me shirts. We had white ones. We sold those the F out, and we made some black ones. So those just went live. I got new music on the way with a rapper from East LA that I like a lot named Mike De Niro. Got new music on the way with him. I got a couple singles coming out. Okay. Yeah, this fall I'm probably gonna be indoors a good amount. I'm gonna be in the lab, cook some shit up. Any shows coming up that people should be checking for? I'm taking some time off because of some other things going on in my life. I canceled a couple shows. Okay, all right. You know what I mean? But it's all good. I could honestly use the rest, man. I've been working really hard. My team has been working really hard. We've done a lot. We did a lot this summer, not just productivity wise, but even just enjoying ourselves because we've been on lockdown for so long. Right. We've been out getting it, bro. Working hard, playing hard, and it's probably a cool time to take a little bit of rest from shows, but we'll be right back, and soon we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. No doubt. Mosaicc, man, thank you very much, man, for tuning in, man, on the Essence, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this, man. Thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate it too. Absolutely, man. I'm sure we'll run across each other's paths, man, at a show or something, you know what I mean, soon. Absolutely. We'll stay tapped in, you know. No doubt, for sure. Absolutely. All right, my brother. Stay up. All right. All right, bro. Say bye, baby.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.